Hello, Facebook Live Home Care Assistants. This is our local San Diego team. My name is Gabrielle Pumpian.
And I'm Michelle Weil.
And we are here to talk a little bit about our specialty programs and give you a little bit of information so that hopefully you can apply some of these things to your own loved ones and also understand a bit more about how Home Care Assistants provides exceptional care to their clients. So I am the local home care liaison here, and Michelle is our cognitive interventionist.
Yep.
And we're talking a little bit today about our balanced care method and our cognitive therapeutic methods, two programs that Home Care Assistants has created in order to provide great care to our clients. So our goal and mission here at Home Care Assistants is to change the way the world ages. We do that by providing our older adults a quality of care that enables them to live healthy, long lives. And one of those ways is with our balanced care method, which is an approach to, we've studied populations around the world that have longevity, that are people living long, healthy lives. And so we've taken those key factors and applied them to our training programs for our caregivers. So we'll start with some questions for Michelle here.
Yeah, happy to join in, to chime in.
Okay, so first question is, how did you become involved in our Mind Fit and Cognitive Therapeutics Method with Home Care Assistants, and why is that important to you?
So, as Gabi said, I am the cognitive interventionist here at HCA in San Diego. And I came to this position because my background's in social work, and I had been working with families who were taking care of a loved one or a friend or family member who was experiencing cognitive changes associated with either mild cognitive impairment or some form of dementia. Helping those families to get resources. And what I found in working with the families is that I really enjoyed working with the individual who was experiencing those cognitive changes, and just helping them stay connected to the things that they loved, and doing kind of a life review and finding out, what is it that makes them tick? What is, exciting to them? What helps them feel successful and connected? What do they like to do socially? All of those things that it might change a little bit in terms of what it looks like. You may not be able to do the exact same things, but we try and help them engage in activities that are similar, help them experience the same feelings that makes them feel like themselves. So that's how I came to working directly with this population, and kind of why it's really important and a really special program to me.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very good. How does your work focus on the mind fitness component within our balanced care method? And tell me a little bit about why this is important to incorporate with our clients.
So in balanced care method, we focus on it's a holistic approach to aging and wellness. And so we look at things like diet and physical exercise, socializing, sense of calm or reducing stress, what makes people feel purposeful. And then another area is cognitive engagement. And we're kind of in a research boom in terms of aging and healthy aging. And we don't at this point have a cure for dementia or cognitive impairment. We don't have a prescribed preventative path. But they have started looking at a lot of different lifestyle factors that can reduce your risk or have a protective factor. And so that's one component of why staying cognitively active is important, because it's one of those risk-reducing or protective lifestyle factors. But perhaps I think why it's most important, and what I see in terms of impacting the lives of our clients and the older adults that we're working with, is that it really impacts quality of life. So a lot of our clients, as you know, are people who were very mentally active. They always push themselves to the top of their profession. They were lawyers, physicians, they were leaders in their, field, they were artists, they, push the envelope in many ways. And so we're tasked with working with these amazing folks who may not be able to do those same professions, but they have that life experience of really always challenging themselves and feeling successful. And so cognitive engagement is a big part of helping them to kind of realize their life purpose, what's important to them at this time in their life. And it doesn't have to be anything, fancy. You don't need a lot of materials or props. There's so many resources in the community already. It's just connecting people with those resources. Sometimes finding some extra activities to bring into the home if that's where we're providing care. But it really is about touching on that purpose and quality of life.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because a lot of times as we age, we really focus on our physical well-being, and we say, what can we do to stay physically active, and how can we remember to walk every day? And
right.
I do think, you touched on that, how important the mental wellness is, and having that sense of purpose, feeling accomplished at the end of the day, gives you a reason to wake up the next day and feeling good going to sleep at night. And so if you're not working anymore, or you don't have a lot of achievements in your life as you age, you slow down, but regaining and keeping that sense of purpose is really, really important.
Yeah.
And so even things like getting an answer right to a question, or figuring out how to solve a puzzle, those can be all little things that really do help the elderly folks feel purposeful. Speak
to that sense of purpose. And it's really about feeling successful, but a lot of times it's feeling a little bit of that challenge. Which is why our programs, which we do an individual program with CTM, or Cognitive Therapeutics Method, where we can focus specifically on someone's life history and finding things, but it's really about finding the right level. So, there's, for example, a simple example, there's 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles, there's, 200-piece jigsaw puzzles, and then there's some and there are some out there that are specifically targeted for people who have some type of cognitive impairment, like MCI or dementia, and they might only have 12 pieces. We're going to work with people who challenging is at all of those different levels. So one person it's 1,000 pieces, one person it's 200, and one person it's that 10-piece puzzle. But for some people, you have to find the right level. You have to find which is the right jigsaw puzzle for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good. So you just gave one example, but can you give us a few more examples of how you engage cognitively with our clients or the community?
Yeah. So obviously a jigsaw puzzle is something that's tactile. You can order it, bring it into the home. But really, it's more about kind of a philosophy of how you engage with someone. So anything can be cognitively engaging. A conversation is a great way to engage someone cognitively. It's just making sure for a lot of individuals that have some level of cognitive changes, carrying a conversation regularly, leading the conversation might be challenging. So it's about kind of leading a conversation in a direction where that's something they like to talk about. So if they were really involved in animal welfare activism, going to a shelter and then having a conversation about it, or just finding an article in the local paper about what's going on in the local animal shelter system, and having a discussion, that's a great piece of, it's a way to engage cognitively with your client. I think some of the best ways to spark cognitive engagement are just getting out into the community and finding out, if there's a class at the local senior center, if there's a classical music concert. We've got so many great universities in the area here that you can tap into. We've got all the museums at Balboa Park. And And then, so that's one piece. And then, of course, there are some like physical materials that you can bring into the home as well. So anything around that is going to give you a lot of really good cognitive engagement.
Awesome. So it sounds like you don't need a lot of materials, but what are some kind of low-cost, easy things that people could order or bring into their home if their loved one maybe wasn't comfortable going out too much into the community?
Yeah, so I brought a few things for us today. People who know me know that I'm always toting around lots and lots of bags. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you see me out in the community, I'm probably carrying my home care assistant's bag, and it's full of goodies. And like I said, it's really about finding something at the right level. So I'm going to just roll with the puzzle scenario for today. I'm going to show you different levels that might be a right fit, and I'll tell you too where you can find these resources. So this is something that I bring into clients' homes, or I might train our caregivers specifically on how to introduce these activities. So I've got, this is probably the most challenging thing I have with me today. So this is a Springbok Puzzles to Remember. This is 36 pieces. And it says exercise your brain and achieve success. So 36 pieces is a great place to start for a lot of our clients or older adults that we're working with that may have difficulty with the smaller piece sizes. Sometimes it's more about just the size is hard. So if you have some sensory changes associated with aging, like vision impairment,
dexterity.
36 pieces. These are pretty big. So it's going to be a little bit easier to use, and they have you a nice, photo on here so you can use that for reference. So that's a good one if you have maybe moderate dementia, and it's going to be different for each person. So I always say, give it a try, and then you can adjust from there. The next one I have is this great, a lot of these resources they're on, like this is on Amazon. It's called How We Go Puzzle. And so these are small puzzles. It's 2 pieces. But I would put out, 3 or 4 of these and have them match up the different pieces together. So again, it's not quite as challenging or overwhelming as a full jigsaw puzzle, but you get that experience of feeling successful and accomplished when you put them together. It's a really good cognitive workout. And the other thing I'll say that's maybe one of the best things about using materials is it's not always about getting it, well, it's not about getting it right. We use an approach called failure-free activities. And so even if the puzzle doesn't come together quite the way it's supposed to, or you don't quite match up things correctly, it's more about using the pieces for a conversation starter as well. So if I'm working with someone, maybe we just get one piece put together with a little bit of assistance. But there's a car on here, and so I'm going to ask them, what was the first car that you drove? Who taught you how to drive? You're touching on all those like reminiscing questions, and that's a really great way to engage in, cognitively stimulating conversation.
Yeah, and it's also working different parts of the brain. So that the puzzle exercise may have been very strategy focused or, making judgments, whereas the question associated is tapping into the long-term memory. So we're encouraging different parts of the brain to fire, which also helps growth and stimulation.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then you can get down into, so these, again, it's on Amazon. You just type in, foam puzzles. I wanted to show this one because it's foam pieces. And so there's a little bit, you can see there's a little bit more of a width to the pieces. Sometimes if you're doing puzzles, it's hard to grab onto if you're having a little bit of difficulty with your dexterity. And so foam puzzles can be a great alternative. And this one also has a cutout. So it shows you kind of exactly where to put the piece.
Yeah.
And again, this is about, helping people feel successful. So you want to find the right level of materials. For some people, this would be way too easy and they would, find it disinteresting, but I've worked with a lot of folks who this is, the perfect level. So it's about trying different things. Just give it a shot, have fun with it.
It's supposed to be fun, not strict.
And you don't have to feel, if you're a family member watching this and you're thinking like, oh my goodness, if you're like me, you're already thinking about your list of things to get on Amazon, just take it one at a time.
Yeah.
Start with one thing and see how it works. Sometimes you have to try a few different ways to introduce it, but yeah, you don't have to be an activities director, but sometimes it can help to have a few materials just for you as well. If you're the care partner, it's fun. It can be fun to do these things together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about board games too? I know my father-in-law has his 95-year-old mother at home, and they play chess a lot.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
They may not get through the whole game, but it's still conversation and reminiscing, but also feeling accomplished. And
absolutely.
So board games can be a good idea too.
Board games are wonderful, especially if somebody always loved playing bridge or cards.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's about adapting for the level that they're at. And, if you're playing chess and it doesn't quite work the way that you always had played chess, or it's not quite following the rules, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's that failure-free approach. It's okay. It's more about the action of that feeling of, this is something that I enjoy. It's something that I know how to do. And so if the piece doesn't go in the right place always, that's okay.
Right. Just go with it.
Just go with it. That's kind of how we approach things here with MindFit and with Cognitive Therapeutics. So, yeah.
Great. So what tips can you give any family or friends who are caring for, or caregivers who are caring for loved ones and want to introduce some of these ideas to their loved one who's having the cognitive decline? Any specific tips besides, we've already said make it fun and failure-free.
Yeah.
Maybe even just approaching the idea. I was just thinking that, maybe families who have young children, you can kind of associate some of those activities that you may be doing with your young children with grandpa and grandma too.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of on the same level.
Absolutely.
In certain things.
Yeah, that's actually a great, for people who are in that, that sandwich generation where you might have your parents living with you and you also have younger children or grandchildren. Sometimes we have 4 generations in the same household.
Right.
So yeah, doing it as kind of like a family activity, having the older adult kind of introduce those intergenerational activities is a great way to introduce something new that's fun for the whole family. So that's definitely a big one. Other than that, I would say also, I talked about doing it as failure-free. It's okay if it's not following the specific rules of how a game is supposed to be played, or if you're doing an art activity, if it doesn't look exactly like what's on the box, that's okay, as long as someone's having fun. And I would say if something doesn't work the first time, you can always try tweaking how you introduce it. Sometimes, it's just the day. Maybe the person that you're caring for wasn't in the best mood that day, and it's, the next day it's a kind of a different ball game. So trying it a couple times. And then I think the big thing is, see what's in the community, because it's really nice, and it takes a little bit of the stress off of you if you're a care partner, to just get out in the community. Going to a museum and looking at paintings is cognitively stimulating. It doesn't have to be a program specifically for, mentally challenging activities or cognitive engagement. Just
for people with dementia, it's not a labeled thing.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Anytime you do something new, anytime you see something new, you hear something new, you drive in the car a new route, you go to a new park, you're experiencing all those new sensations, and it's like a mental workout for the brain. So just trying something new in the surrounding neighborhood or area is a great way to get in cognitive engagement.
Yeah, and it's really important too to make sure that you're taking the time, if you are a loved one caring for somebody else, or if you are hiring a caregiver to come in and provide care all day for somebody, not only are those physical activities important, like eating and drinking and taking a bath and getting dressed, but also allocating time every day for mental stimulation, for music time, or, let's turn off the TV for a half an hour. We're actually going to do some engagement. We're going to do some puzzling. So kind of reminding yourself to build that time into your day or your week for the loved one who may be experiencing cognitive decline and not do it on their own. I think, it's not all about the physical, and that's what the balanced care method really proves, is that physical exercise, healthy nutrition, mental exercise, having a sense of purpose and calm are all the most important factors. It's just not one or the other.
Right.
So setting aside that time and that's what we do here in our office in San Diego, is we set aside an hour every week. We have a free class that Michelle teaches to the
I'm
public.
glad you brought that up.
MindFit, free to the community. People come in and dropped off their loved ones, and we get to do an hour of engagement with them while they go grocery shopping, or take an hour just to relax. Yeah. And that's something that, we have the same group coming in all the time. That's something that they've built into their week.
Yeah. I love the MindFit class.
Yeah.
If you're in San Diego, it's on Mondays at 1 p.m. is our community class. And I always encourage you, if you're planning on coming or bringing your loved one or family member, give me a call and we can chat about it and see if it would be a good fit. And we have a lot of fun in that class.
It's really fun.
We do a lot of reminiscing, and it's kind of like being on a game show, but you do it in a group, and so there's a huge social component too, which is kind of why we developed the MindFit. So CTM, or the Cognitive Therapeutic Method, is more of our individualized program. We train our caregivers in CTM so they understand the principles of engaging with our clients and building activities into the day. And then we also have the MindFit series. And so I love that we touch on an individualized approach, and then we also do this social
group setting
engagement, because socializing is huge. A lot of our clients, when we first start working with them, are maybe they've been isolating.
Yeah. They're
not going out into the community anymore because it's been difficult for them to navigate in the way that they had previously. And so it's just setting up a little bit more structure and making sure it's something that they can be successful at and feel really engaged and supported. If you have any interest in that, definitely get in contact with me. I'd love to talk with you about it. It's a really cool program.
Well, great. Well, thanks for all the good information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hope you enjoyed our talk, and we're here in San Diego. Anytime you want to come by, we're located here in La Jolla, and you can check out our website, homecareassistance.com/La Jolla, and our phone number here at the office is 858. I don't know the rest of it.
Oh, it's 858-775-0769. And that's your number. That's my direct line. So
you can know my number.
Yeah, you can call me if you have any questions about CTM and MindFit, and I'll direct you to the right place.
All right. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gabi.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.